Right. Ooh, boy, oh fucking boy. Your boy is hanging on, y'all. Hanging on by a fucking thread. By a fucking thread. But we're here. All right. Let me just share the space out, or not the space, the stream out to all the people. See, I'm so loopy, I can't even talk. But let me share the space out to a bunch of people and we will get it started up. Let's see. Okay. Let me send it to my guy as well. Let's see. Nobody in here yet, so we're good. Now. We like happy end. All right. I'll go over to paid for play. Ooh wee. It's time to deck the halls, people. We got a big announcement coming up for the one person that's in here. If I start sneezing, I apologize. Like right now.
Bless you.
That's what happens when your woman works in childcare, ladies and gentlemen. You contract all the nasty things that all them kids be touching, putting in their mouth.
Catching
Ugh.
strays.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. I wasn't that type of kid though, Sam, where you're very like playing dirt, you know what I'm saying? Get wild, like touch everything, put everything in your mouth type kid. I wasn't.
No, I mean I've never been like sick multiple times throughout a year. It's like maybe once or twice, but yeah, it's never been that way. Maybe
Yeah.
immune system's just built different. I don't know.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, it got yours gotta be because mine is built definitely backwards and flawed. To say the least. Let me quote this one more time and we will get it going. Please, please, please. If you're on the stream right now, follow us at Pay for Play. We'll give y'all the announcement early since you joined early. You know what I'm saying? Early bird gets the worm. We are giving away $100 gift card. Okay. I'm thinking I'm want to make it Amazon. If you're not an Amazon fan, then I understand that we won't do Amazon. We'll do just $100 Visa gift card, but $100 Visa gift card to one of our followers. Now, the only rule about this, you have to be subscribed and you have to be following the Pay for Play page. Okay. It's got to be both. Can't be one or the other. And we will put you in the drawing in order to win that gift card. So if you didn't buy your mama nothing for Christmas and you need something, we over here at Pay for Play got you. All right, it's your fault that you ain't buy nothing for your mama after all she did for you, raising you and shit. But you gotta back up in us over at Pay for Play. So we'll definitely be looking forward to that. We're at 700 right now, so we got some work to do. Can't lie. So if you're in this stream, please share it out to your people, man. We do have good college football bets. I promise I wouldn't even be doing the show if we didn't. But we are back. It's week 12. Welcome to Pay for Play at Pay for Play on Twitter. Uh, it's week 12, man. It's really the last week of the regular season, but it's rivalry week, all right? So you know what I'm saying? We're still happy about that. We're still doing well. But my boy Sam is here with us as always. Sam, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Killed the turkey frying yesterday. It was my
Okay.
first year in charge of it. Solo
Okay.
run. Usually helping my dad out with it, but had to take over this year, and it was pretty damn good. I've already got my leftover sandwich in me, so fighting off those enzymes, trying to make me
Ooh.
tired and everything. But there's hate in the heart this week, so it's fueling me.
Oh, there's some hate in the heart. Do tell. Do tell.
It's A&M. Fuck those milkman motherfuckers. I hate them, dude. Hate them. Haven't won
Yeah.
anything since before the World War. Like,
Yeah. And they really think they're in the army, bro. Like they really do think they're in the army. I don't really get that. It's kind of strange to me. Um, you know, if you're A&M alum, I'm sorry, but
All you
The
gotta
way
do is
y'all kick it over there.
show the overalls and woo, woo, woo.
Gig 'em, Aggies. Yeah, yeah. And y'all want Dion to go over there and be a part of that? He go look goofy as hell, y'all. I don't know about that.
If he was
I
smart,
do
he
not.
would. But
No, no, not at all. But all right. So week 12, like we said, rivalry week. Some of these bigger college football rivalries do get played during the middle of the season, but a bulk of them are, of course, played in the last week of the season. And we will start in none other than Sam's beloved Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They will be up at 7 a.m., drinking, eating delicious food. Maybe they'll have leftovers left. I don't know. They don't. I feel like in Baton Rouge, they have no problem with frying 2 turkeys in 3 days. So they probably have another turkey so you could
I
get
know
some fresh food.
my uncle and some of his buddies, they'll do like 50 plus. They like help out people in the community and stuff and do
There
that
we go.
on throughout the week. So I know they've gotten up above like 60 before for Thanksgiving. So yeah, there's plenty of leftovers going around.
Yeah, and I'm about to go eat mine directly after this and fall into another coma because again, I am sick. But yeah, so well, also for the people who are joined on Twitter, I see a couple of y'all. If you wanna drop any plays that you have in the comments so we can actually show them live on air right underneath me and Sam's little picture, you can do that, but you have to join on YouTube, and the YouTube link is in the tweet. So just click on YouTube, pull it up, go ahead and comment on there, and you'll be good. But like you said, it's going to be a lot of good food, going to be a lot of binge drinking, 2 things that I am enamored with in my own personal life. But in this matchup, Texas A&M is pretty much not really playing for a lot, dead in the water, kind of seeing how they're going to carry over into next year in terms of a new coach, a new staff, new players, maybe some transfer out, maybe some stay. We don't really know. So, and LSU is basically trying to be like, Jaden, do whatever the hell you want to do in order to secure this Heisman over Bo Berry Biscuit. So, how are you feeling about this one tomorrow, Sam? Obviously, an 11.5 point spread is pretty big. I don't know how I feel about it, so I'll let you go first so you can kind of, describe how you feel about this rivalry.
Yeah, I don't really know what exactly we're going to get from Texas A&M. Like, there's some I've seen rumors that Evan Stewart's not coming, like not even dressing. He's already pretty much in the transfer portal, so he's done. I don't know who's going to play quarterback. But anyway, I don't know who's going to play for A&M at quarterback. Like, there's rumors that Max isn't going to play. That it might be on the third string. Doesn't matter who's going to play quarterback for them. They're going to get some points at some point. So at the end of the day, LSU's overs are hitting at a 10-1 rate on the year. So I'm obviously taking the over. I have no faith in this defense. But yeah, Jaden is going to do whatever the hell he wants. I don't care about the defensive line. I think LSU's offensive line is good enough to do whatever they need to do to move the ball. It's the secondary for A&M that should be worrisome for them because it's not great. Like if you can give them just a little bit of time and with these receivers, like I think they'll be able to have a field day. So I am with all the like rumors of who's not playing and whatnot. I'm on LSU minus 12 as well.
Ooh, okay. I got it at 11.5 on Bovada. Is it at 12 on FanDuel?
DraftKings, yeah, I took it
Oh,
earlier
okay,
this
gotcha.
morning. But I mean, there could be some movement, obviously, with the game being tomorrow morning. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and this is a huge game for Brian Kelly in terms of like last year you had a chance to make A&M go 4-8 on the year, and you lost on the road in a game that really didn't mean a ton, but you could have gotten to a New Year's Six game. You're probably not making it this year, but there are so many recruiting battles going down to the wire between LSU and A&M. There's a lot of good players up kind of on the line for both of them. And if you can go out and win by double digits and go on your way to another 10-win season and back-to-back years, like that's a great start for Brian Kelly. And he needs to establish himself before A&M somehow lucks into getting the right hire and figuring it all out. But
Hmm.
again, I disagree with like what Pate has been saying all week, like A&M's top 3 job in the SEC. Like Alabama and Georgia are number 1 and 2. I think LSU's number 3 just because you've had 2 morons win national championships at LSU, and even all the years since 1939, no one's even lucked into something. They're perennial losers. They'll never figure it out. They haven't figured it out for nearly 100 years. I doubt that they do again. I'm seeing the rumors that it may be Ryan Day, and I would love that. I would love that if he was the hire, because that dude was born on third base, thought he hit a triple, and I mean, he lucked into what he had, or he waltzed into one of the greatest situations a coach has ever had, starting his career as a head coach, and he's done nothing with it. He might lose. I think he's going to lose to a interim head coach, and the noise is going to start getting loud for him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think, especially if you have, Lou Holtz getting you riled up, a former Notre Dame head coach. I don't know if you have the mentality to take on a job like Texas A&M, where, like you said, you're really scrapping for third place most of those years. Like, we can go back all the way to 1950, since Texas A&M has had a coach with a high level of success, even 10 wins. Like, it's very interesting to me how a lot of people just look at the money for that job, which, look, money runs our world, like, not to get political and all that, but I'm not going to blame you if you want the money. Like, totally get that. It's cool. Like, oil money is never going to run out. You put gas in your car every week. Okay. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at a track record of a team who hasn't had a successful coach since 1950, it's either they're just super unlucky or they've never been able to get the guy. So if you're going into that job, you got to know, okay, I have an uphill battle. I have a mountain to climb. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that personally, but to each their own. So yeah, I just look at this matchup specifically, and like I said, Texas A&M is really just playing so nobody gets an injury that affects next year. Once they hire their coach, they're going to have a lot more of an outlook on what they're going to do and how next year is going to look. But I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up scoring wise with LSU. I think if I was looking at anything for this matchup specifically, I would try to take a peek on the over. And I'm looking at it right now. It's at 66. Will A&M be able to score that much? Maybe not. But I think LSU can. I mean, they're going to be in the 30 to 40 range every week, in my opinion, especially with the Heisman race coming so close down to the wire. I think they're
I
going to
think
want to
they've
put up
gone
points.
13 straight possessions with a touchdown.
13 straight with a
I
touchdown.
believe so.
And that's dating back to the Georgia State game and the game before that, correct?
Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Jeez.
Florida, they finished with, I think, 6 straight or something. And then last week they didn't go possession. Maybe with Jaden playing. Jaden's like led them to like 13 straight touchdowns, which is insane. So
yeah, bro. I'm telling you, like he deserves it for me. I know Bo has a completion percentage, but completion percentage can be very, very, very misleading. So it is
he
what
has
it is.
17 completions of 20 plus yards, and Jaden has like 20 plus touchdowns over 20 plus yards.
Just saying, numbers are telling, and you got a conference that doesn't believe in defense whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know about that one, buddy. But the committee is gonna, or the voters, should I say, because it's not a committee, it's the voters. We're gonna want what the voters want. It is what it is. But yeah, Sam, you said you got LSU minus 12. I don't have anything official for this because Sam is the LSU expert, so I will of course be tailing him. I'll put that in. Let me click on that. Great gambling week for me as well. Last night was amazing. All right, so my bankroll is up. Fingers crossed and knock on wood that we don't fuck that up today. All right.
Had a nice little touchdown score parlay yesterday. That was a nice way to end the night.
There we go. Then your little change for today and tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, this was gonna be it's a new kickoff for a reason. Both teams have minimal things to play for. I mean, you could say that playing for the Heisman is big, but you know what I'm saying? It's not the team goals that they want. So it is what it is. But we'll keep it pushing with Washington State. Wazoo going to Washington. They are which was surprising to me, a 16 and a half point dog, which I mean, I, I kind of see why, but then again, I kind of don't, because Washington's defense has been awful. Wazoo's defense might be just as bad, to be honest with you, but it just wasn't. It wasn't really expected for me, especially in a rivalry game. Yes, it's in Seattle, but I don't know if this Washington team is 16 and a half points better. I think they're clearly the better team, but 16 and a half points better, I'm a little hesitant on that one. So this is a 4 p.m. Eastern start. Sam, how you feeling about this one? I saw your face. You're kind of like,
Yeah,
too.
dude, all these rivalry games have I hate the board this week. Like there's all these rivalry games like Washington State, Oregon State, Alabama, Auburn with like these huge spreads, and I can't find a way to pick a side. I mean, in my gut tells me Washington State's going to play up to their competition here, and Washington's just found a way to win. You got to commend them for that. Like, it hasn't been pretty really since the Oregon game, but at the end of the day, they're winning. And I know people are trying to I've seen some comparisons to like TCU last year. This is a much better team than what TCU was last year, but they're kind of winning in the same way where they just find a way to win every week. And they got past that test last week. I think if they were going to lose regular season, it was going to be last week, but
Yeah,
they found a way to win. Commend them for that. But Washington and Washington State, and it's going to be similar with Oregon State. This is the last time. Like, it's kind of like
mm-hmm.
Bedlam earlier this year. You don't know when these matchups are going to come down the road. It's a very heated rivalry. And Cam Ward against this Washington defense, I'm on the over. I'm not taking a side in this one. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I lean Washington State because I think they're going to try. Like, there's no better feeling than if you're completely out of it than spoiling, pissing in their Cheerios, like
Mm-hmm.
completely wrecking Washington's season. And I think they're going to play like that, and they're going to keep it close, go back and forth a little bit. There's going to be points because I don't believe in Washington State's defense to stop Penix and those receivers at all. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I think Washington finds a way to win. And you got to commend DeBoer and Penix and everybody up there for what they've done. Like, DeBoer just knows how to win. He's done it everywhere. He's been a head coach, and he's doing it again now. And if they win, when they win, like, they don't even have to win, but for playoff purposes, they need to. And then they're getting ready for next weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this has the potential of a look ahead spot. I don't really love the look ahead spot angle in the last week of the season, just because sometimes, well, we find most of the times within the Big Ten, within the Pac 12, even the SEC, where one team knows they're clearly better than the opponent in rivalry week. Like, you'll see the Iron Bowl be like that. You'll see even the Big Ten championship, just because the winner of the Ohio State and Michigan game, which we will talk about later, is usually going to be the winner of that game. I think Purdue is going to be representing the West this year in the Big Ten championship, or who?
Iowa.
Oh yeah, I see. Like, who the fuck wants to watch that? All right, they're in a game with Nebraska right now. This is why we're doing the show right now, because there's nothing worth watching.
I don't know, dude. I'm sweating this game right now. Took the under in Iowa money line, so I'm just a real quick pause because I want to go off on this little tangent. I was thinking about it before we started the show. Had that game on, and to see CBS, the intro music come in, and you got to watch Iowa, Nebraska with an over under of 24.5. Like, what was what was CBS thinking? Like, why would you ever not pay up for what the SEC has given you for these last 2 decades because it's been great. And now you got fucking Iowa and Nebraska with a 24.5 over under. And it's going to
Bro,
go under.
I know. It was at what, 26 at the beginning of the game? Like 26 and a half, I think it was.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it closed with the lowest ever. Like Iowa resets the market for the lowest over under win total or over under team game total every week.
yeah, and they want that guy back every week. Shout out to Ferentz, but well, no shout out to Ferentz. Anytime we say shout out to somebody on this show, that's like us dissing them. But
Yeah.
I don't get why you would want that. Why do you not want to see good football? Y'all have good defense. Y'all have put tons of NFL players in the league, and you've even put, I mean, you're responsible for George Kittle. It's not like you can't, like, find the talent on offense. It's just
Laporta too. Like they just put out tight
Laporta
end
as
after
well.
tight end. Like Laporta's probably the best rookie tight end last 2-3 years.
Yeah, easily in my book. Yeah, scored yesterday too. Shout out to him. Hit his props.
TD score. Hell yeah.
There we go. But yeah, bro. The only thing I could think of is that ESPN just threw them the bag. They made, terms that they just couldn't disagree with. That'd be the only thing, because I mean, this is kind of like when the NBA left NBC for me. Like it's really ingrained in us to hear that music and think, okay, what SEC matchup are we about to get today? Even if
the SEC game of the week, not even like some, like maybe or at the end of the year you get like one of those double headers where you get a noon game that's not the best, but then you're going into like an LSU Alabama or a Georgia Florida type game, and for it to be Iowa Nebraska, like I have no problem with defensive football games. Like the Michigan Ohio State game is going to be a defensive football game, and the offenses are going to struggle. But that's a great football game because like it's great athletes. This is putrid football. It's punt after punt after punt, and not entertaining to watch at all.
No, not at all. And as we talk about this, 118 left to go in the first quarter, and the score is 0-0. So, but sorry, we got sidetracked. We'll get back on track with Washington State and Washington. I like the over in this one as well. I think Cam's passing yards is at 296.5. I would like that. I think he gets to 300. Just off of, they are very much air raid offense. They want to get Cam in the passing game. They hit a lot of deep shots as well, which I think will help boost that number up. Might make that official. I got to think on it. But yeah, with this game, I wouldn't take that 16.5 with Washington if I was y'all. I just wouldn't. Like, I would, and I don't really think I would necessarily take it with Washington State either. Like, it could happen, but I think the likelihood of it is low. So me and Sam are both on the over for this one. And I would also put a sprinkle on Cam Ward's passing yards. I just think he's going to be able to hit those deep balls. DBs are not that good. You're not going to have an amazing pass rush, even though Cam is pretty athletic. He can extend plays and do a lot of stuff with that. So actually, I'm making it official. Cam Ward over 296 passing yards. That is at a number that I will give you once my computer loads, and my computer has loaded. So that number is going to be minus 115, over 296.5 passing yards for Cameron Ward. All right. You got anything else on this one, Sam, or can we keep it pushing?
No, I was just going to check DraftKings odds real quick, but you can go ahead and go to the next game.
For sure. Yeah, we'll get that pulled up in a second, but we'll swing it back to our neck of the woods. A game that, if ties were a thing in college football, me and Sam would all be for a tie in this matchup. We have the Alabama Crimson Tide rolling in to the Plains in Auburn, Alabama. You're a customary 3:30 p.m. CBS start. It's going to be the last one, like we were just talking about. I guess this game will be on ESPN next year. But my motto on this show, for all of you who haven't been watching during the year, is that weird shit happens on the plains, y'all. Okay, weird shit happens on the plains.
This was gonna be my talk it out. Sorry to interrupt, but
oh no, you're good. You're good. We can add talk it out to this. Hold on, let me see. Let me edit this. Let me edit this graphic real quick. But we have two teams who absolutely hate each other. All right. I think this is the best rivalry in college football today. I know a lot of you are going to say it's Ohio State, Michigan. I get it. But somebody is currently sitting in jail over this rivalry. Okay. A man decided to poison a tree over this rivalry. All right. So, my opinion is the best one. All right. I've seen multiple people of my own family fight over this rivalry. My aunt was on the phone with one of my cousins yesterday during dinner. They got into a yelling match. I'm not kidding either. They got into a yelling match. It wasn't too bad. You know, it wasn't disrespectful. But my aunt's an Auburn fan. My cousin is obviously on the Tide. And it gets ugly. All right. It gets ugly. Now, I said all of that, Sam, to say this. This Auburn team, as we all know, which I should have took that fucking 25.5 last week too with fucking New Mexico State. I was looking at that shit all week and I was like, bro, I just don't have the balls to take it. But they lost to New Mexico State at the crib, and they didn't just lose. They got fucking dominated, okay?
21.
Yes, New Mexico State did whatever the hell they wanted to do on the ground. The quarterback didn't have to do a lot through the air, but he got pretty much whatever he wanted. And I know I just said weird shit happens on the plains. I know this. But I have an official play here. I'm with the Tide minus 13, bro. I am. I see literally no way they can cover this number, okay? You can't throw the ball. The running game is very, very shaky. I don't see how you can do this against a Bama defense. Now, this might come back to bite me in the ass, all right? It might. But I just don't fucking see how this team can stand up to Alabama. They're going to want to go vertical. Jalen's going to get whatever the hell he wants. McClellan's going to get whatever the hell he wants. So I got the Tide minus 13, bro. I think they're being a little bit generous with this line, to be honest with you. But how are you feeling? Be honest with me. Tell me if I'm crazy.
I literally got in a yelling match about this game with my dad earlier this week because him and his buddies do like a little parlay every week, and he was like, "Oh, Alabama's a lock. There's no way." I'm like, dude, weird shit happens on the plains. There is nothing that explains Jordan Hare magic. They can lose by 21 to New Mexico State at home, but then they can also take the about to be three-time defending national champions to the last possession and take them down to a 7-point game. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Like, 2 years ago, nobody gave Auburn a chance in this game. No one. They had Bryce Young, the Heisman winner. His Heisman moment was a drive to go up and finally score their first touchdown of the game with under 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, they didn't score the whole game, y'all.
Didn't score the whole game, and they had to tie the game with 50 seconds to go. This game makes no sense ever when it's at Auburn. I know, like, if this was at Alabama, I would be taking Alabama minus 30. I don't care. I would run up the number all the way. But it's at Jordan Hare, and it makes absolutely no sense what goes on in that building. Yeah. I've seen it. You've seen it. Like, you've been victim to it. It's the 10-year anniversary of the Kick Six. Like,
oh, it is? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yes,
it's 2023. Jesus. Oh, Lord.
It's the 10-year anniversary of the Kick Six. So I am trying. Every fiber of my being wants to bet Alabama. But I might have to ride with this one. It's the last one on the SEC or CBS, you know. Fuck it. I'm adding Auburn plus 13.5.
Oh, he did it. He did it. He fucking did it,
it's
man.
It's the Costanza. Every instinct I have is wrong. The opposite must be right. So I am taking Auburn. This rivalry is exactly where that logic applies, and in that building in particular. So, yeah.
I'm not mad at you for that. I can't.
If I take an L on this one, I don't care, but I've been burned by too many bets on this field. And you know what? I'm just going to ride with it.
Yeah, I get it. Trust me. Like I said, I mean, you have your cornerback for Georgia have the ball right in his hands, and then, you know, let it hit him in the face mask, and ball drops right in the receiver's hands, and you win the game. Don't know how that happens. And then the guy transfers to Auburn a year later. Don't know how that happens. Anyway, Benedict Arnold. But I do agree with you on that side, just of the fact that while I think that Jalen has showed a lot of poise, and he has gotten better every week, I think we would both agree with that. This gonna be his first big road test, and this is the road test. This ain't no like we'll get you ready for
It ain't Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is the one. Like there are going to be people who legitimately hate you in the crowd. Like it just is. So I could see him being a little nervy, maybe making some mistakes. I think Auburn's defense is pretty good. I just think their offense doesn't give them enough in order for them to like have any legs at the end of the game. So I still think that the running game is going to be crucial. I really need to look up what Jalen Milroe's rushing props are, because I think this might be a game similar to the LSU game where you might hit that shit in the first half. All right. It was easily hit in that game. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I just don't see this team being able to stay in
Jalen
this
Milroe
game.
over 43.5 rushing yards.
Oh, take official play. Jalen Milroe over 43.5 rushing yards. I got it. Let me see what mine is. It's minus 115. Taking that as well. Bet it. It's gonna happen. This is what it is.
One thing that I will come back to that's like actually logic, and not just Jordan Hare magic, because that defies all logic.
Yes.
Because Alabama's been a bad road team still. Like they haven't played well on the road over the last. It's been 3 years now. Like they've gone this season too. Like I'm not gonna count 11 a.m. at Kentucky as a road game, and like a real road game, they've struggled. Like Texas, LSU last year, Tennessee, A&M, they struggled until the second half this year. Like they haven't played well on the road, and I understand Auburn lost by 21 at home last week, but this game's different. It's the best rivalry in college football.
Yeah, it might be a look ahead spot, but I totally agree with you on that. So yeah, we got I got minus 13. We're going head to head on this one. I got minus 13 with the Tide. Sam
No
got
first
that plus.
half.
I was looking at it. I ain't gonna lie, but that's where I kind of said that I'm a little bit hesitant, because Bama in the first half also has been a little slow to get out. I mean, we saw that at the crib versus the Tennessee game. So I'm a little bit hesitant on that one. But I do think second half, I mean, the defense is just going to be gassed trying to catch up with Jalen, with McClellan. I think that also you not being able to throw the ball, and I'll be honest, I think Kool-Aid and Arnold are probably like the best duo of cornerbacks in the SEC West. Even though I think Kool-Aid is a little overrated, I do think that there are a very, very strong duo to go up against, especially when you don't have receivers that are greatest and you don't have a quarterback that can pass the ball. So, yeah, I see them pulling it out at the end, bro. I think this line might go to maybe in the 15 area by game time. So we'll see what happens. We'll see, but I don't know. But if you are on our stream on Twitter, we appreciate y'all for joining. But please click the YouTube link and allow us to see your comments on the YouTube link. We can post them here on the video feed so everybody else can see them. We want to see your plays for rivalry week. If you got any live bets, that would be cool too. Okay, I got the laptop open, so if you got live bets, let me know, and we'll run them. But yeah, please join us on YouTube. Also, subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us at Pay for Play. Like I said early in the show, for people who are just joining, we're giving away a $100 gift card when we get to 1,000 followers. So if you want to get that $1,000 gift card for your mama, for your daddy, for your cousin, for your girl, for your auntie, whoever you want it for, please follow us. Please subscribe. All right. And I know you were just cheering, Sam, because I saw Iowa finally scored.
Scored a touchdown. That's a miracle, baby.
Hey, look, that's what I'm about to say. Only one you gonna get today, so you better watch it and take a picture and watch it over.
That's all you need in the game. That's essentially a dub right there.
Yeah, that's a win. I don't know how they weren't favored in this game as well. Nebraska seems like they're dead in the water. Yeah, I didn't like that one. But we'll keep it pushing with the show, and we will go down to the swamp. Now, I might raise some eyebrows with you on this one, Sam. But we have two backup quarterbacks in this game. Obviously, Everybody pretty much saw the Jordan Travis injury. We're praying for the kid. Hopefully, he comes and is able to bounce back, maybe have a decent NFL career. But you never want to see a kid's ankle turn sideways on your TV screen, especially in a game that, you know, they were going to handle them. Maybe they were having a little bit of a struggle at the beginning of the game, but bro, there's no doubt in my mind FSU would have blown the doors open.
You saw what they did with the backup. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, they were going to be fine the whole time. But yeah, hate that for the kid. Also, Graham Mertz went out. I don't know. Is he out for the season, Sam? I didn't see anything specific on that, but I don't think he's playing. Yeah, I mean, there's no point. And it says what? This is his last year of eligibility anyway, so
I think so.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. Anyway, we look at this matchup, okay? FSU, their run defense is very, very middle of the pack. I said this when we were going over that Miami game. And I think that Florida, although they've been very disappointing this year, I also think that they still have the talent, both on the offensive line and in that running back room with Lil Etienne. And I'm forgetting my boy's the other dude's name, even though he's been incredibly disappointing. In this one, Sam, be honest with you, bro, I got the Gators plus 6.5, and I got a sprinkle on the money line as well. I think that Florida's quarterback is very athletic. When I look at FSU's quarterback, I think he was a little bit shaky, to be honest with you. Now, I know Rodmaker, he's starting his first start, and for this to be at the end of the year with the college football playoff chances on the line, because he just got dropped out of the top 4 for whatever reason that was, but we'll talk about that later. And you're expected to go into the swamp and win a game. I don't know. I'm a little bit cautious with that. I would be very, very strong on that plus 6.5. I did sprinkle a little bit on the money line, but I want to see how you're feeling.
I'm very torn on this one because I have the Florida under 5.5 win total on the season. And I've already tried to hedge once. I hedged against Arkansas, and we all know how that turned out. So I don't know if I should hedge again just because Florida has the plus money on the money line side. But at the end of the day, I hate Florida, so I'm just going to hate bet this one. I'm going to go with Florida State. I think they're the overall better team. I think they have the better coach. I think they're going to be more prepared, and they have a whole lot more to play for, and they got a little bit of a disrespect angle coming in. So it's always going to be an interesting rivalry game, especially now that you have a first-time starter going on the road in the swamp. But it's Sunbelt Billy. He doesn't really scare me. I don't know if he goes 5-7, does he have a job?
I mean, I think he does.
With the schedule they have next year?
Yeah, I don't know if you bring it. That's the only thing. I don't know if you bring in a new guy and have that much transition when you're having that type of schedule. Like, he is relatively new. What, this is year 2 for him? So he's still getting some of his guys in. They have been competitive. I think that's what is more giving me a more positive outlook on them, I guess. Yeah, they got smoked in the Georgia game. Yeah, they lost to Arkansas at the crib. But I think
But if you're competitive and you continuously lose, are you really competitive, or are you just like, since we're talking about Florida, dude, we've seen them win 2 national championships in our lifetime. Like, they are not a scrappy underdog program. It's fucking Florida. Like, you're not a 5-7 program, and you hired a Sunbelt coach. What are we doing?
Yeah, well, they haven't been making good hires for the last probably 10 years, a la Dan Mullen, a la my guy. Wow.
McElwain.
Yeah, McElwain. Shit. I don't even think my boy who's at Georgia now, whose name is fucking escaping me right now. Muschamp. There we go. I don't even think those were the not good hires. So, I mean, I think while I agree with you, I do totally agree with you. I think one more year is needed. If you don't see it next year at all, throw it away, scrap it out. Try to get that name brand coach. Maybe you call your boy Young Heart Attack, aka Urban Meyer. Maybe you give him a call and flirt with him. Maybe. I don't know. If you want to get, I know a lot of y'all texted your ex for Thanksgiving last night, so maybe you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, I mean, if they get Dion, that's game over. I would never want that. Yeah, I would never want that for me personally, because that's going to mean that him and Kirby are going to be going at war, and I'm gonna have to hate on Dion, and I don't want to hate on Dion. Okay, I don't want to do that. So, but I do think you got to get a young bull some time, man. You got to give him a little bit of time. I mean,
he can have time, but that's fine. He got a loaded SEC schedule next year where they have to go. I think they play both Texas and Oklahoma, and then they also play SEC or LSU, A&M. Like Georgia, their schedule is no walk in the park next year. They play UCF, Miami, and Florida State.
Yeah.
3 losses in my mind. Like, if you're really going to be working in this DJ Lagway kid as a true freshman with that schedule, that's tough. That's a tough ask, especially whenever you're coming off a potential 5-7 season where you don't reach bowl eligibility unless they backdoor you into one, which if you're Florida, why would you even play in a bowl game like that? So I agree. I don't think he gets fired just because of the recruiting class, but at the end of the day, they're not going to do good next year. And I have no pick on this game to bring it back to that. I've got no official plays. I lean Florida State just because I think their roster overall is better. And Florida's defense has been Swiss cheese regardless of who's playing quarterback. So yeah, like they lost to Arkansas at the crib. So
at the crib, yeah. And I want Florida. I mean, I guess I'm ready to get my heart broken again. I'm still not over that fucking Kentucky loss. I thought that was a win for them in the bag. Especially we've seen how easy Kentucky has got their doors blown off towards the back end of the season. But I guess I'm ready to be hurt again, man. I am. So here's what it is. But I got the Gators plus 6.5. I got a little sprinkle on the money line as well. That number has been going down. So if you agree with me, please go ahead and go get that as soon as possible. But we have a guest. We can bring him on for the last two games. We got our boy Jay Jones is in the building. Jonesy Trends on Twitter. All right, he's ready for some war. Your boy Jake, he's talking about I got work, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the job. Man.
Scary, bro.
Jake ain't got no job, man. Come on, he like Tommy. He ain't got no damn job. But
he's working on Black Friday.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like on Black Friday, bro. What? Come on, bro. He's lying. Anyway, Jones, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Pretty well. We are about to get into our last 2 games of the day. So, like I said, if y'all are watching on Twitter, please join us on YouTube so we can see your comments. Comment on, any plays that y'all have. We would love to see them. We just got done with FSU Florida. Since we still have it up, Jones, do you have anything on this one? I got the Gators plus 6.5, and I got a little sprinkle on the money line, but I want to know how you feel.
I love Florida in this spot, man. I just feel like, bro, you take out, Travis, bro, and you're going to put in a backup quarterback. I know he looked decent, but he's playing Northern Alabama. Now you got a backup quarterback going into the Swamp, a night game rival. I know that Florida has a backup coming in too, because I know Merch is hurt, but Max Brown, he's good. That RPO that he was running, I mean, he can move on his feet. He's dual threat. He can pass the ball. I think that he might be a little issue for Florida State, man. Honestly, and then you got a 2-headed running back tandem with ETN and who is it? Johnson?
Montrell Johnson. That's his name. I just thought of it.
Yep. So I think that the game's gonna be close. I'm not gonna say Florida State potentially. I mean, I just think it's gonna come down to maybe a field goal or like 2 field goal game, bro. On that 6.5, you can hit that 6.5. But I would not be surprised if Florida somehow pulls this game off.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. And like I told Sam,
you're gonna make me hedge, and I don't want to hedge because as soon as I hedge, they're gonna lose, dude. If I hedge like multiple times, it completely ruins the point of the bet in the first place.
Yeah, I know, bro. But look, I don't want to bet on the Florida Gators. Me. You see my fucking background, all right? I don't want to do that, all right? But I think Max Brown is athletic too, which is going to be another part of this game that's going to be interesting to see. Like an athletic quarterback who's going to be able to extend plays. Could be ugly, but we'll keep it pushing. We'll try to keep it under an hour today. We got the Civil War, okay? We got the boy Bullberry Biscuit. Me and Jones and Sam, for that matter, do not like this guy. Not personally. I'm sure he's a great kid.
No, I don't like him personally. I'm at that point.
Okay, well, Sam doesn't like him personally either. Okay, but the Heisman smoke is just like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? A broken clock is right twice a day. Okay, but we go into this game, the Civil War. Obviously, Oregon State coming off a loss to Washington at the crib last week. We're going into Oregon, a huge rivalry game. Again, the last time this rivalry game is going to be played. And we got Oregon minus 14. Now, Oregon, are they in a potential look-ahead spot just like Washington is against Wazoo? Yeah, they could be. But I would be a little bit more confident in taking this big spread than I would for the Washington and Wazoo spread just because of Oregon's offense. Their trenches are dominant. And, I mean, yes, it was raining last week, but Oregon State's offense plays like it's raining every fucking week, okay? They're just not dynamic. They're not the greatest, all right? So I don't have anything in this game. I'm going to just be watching it, but Sam, we'll start with you. How are you feeling about this one? Because I'm a little on this one.
I hate the bet, but I'm giving DJU my money again, baby.
Oh,
I did it last week, and I went into this week and I said I'm never giving that motherfucker a dime of my money again, and I'm sitting here betting it again. I know this is a hate bet. You know, Oregon State, it feels too much like the Bedlam game. Like, I know that they won last year, and Oregon's going to be ready for this game. But at the end of the day, Oregon State has a chance to piss in Oregon Cheerios. If they do this, they're out of the playoff contention. And if Arizona wins, Oregon's not even going to be in the Pac-12 championship.
Yes, this is true.
So I think there's a lot on the line. I think their defense is going to be fired up, ready to play. I have no faith in the offense, but at the end of the day, like, I think their defense is athletic enough to stop this like dink and dunk offense that Oregon kind of has, because like all of like 80% of Bo's yardage comes within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, and then it's all yak. So, I mean, I know Oregon's cherry picking stats about like how he leads the country in November in passing yards, but like if you want to show the full season, that's a completely different story because Jaden's kind of got that by a landslide. So
yeah,
if Bo Nix starts his college career taking SEC Newcomer of the Year away from Derek Stingley in 2019 and ends it taking a Heisman away from Jaden Daniels, I will make it my mission to end this man. Like, he will be my number one. I will hate him for the rest of my days.
Yeah, he's gonna be the trick of the draft, bro. I'm telling you this right now. Like, they're gonna hype him up come draft season, and they're going to be talking about how good he is, how poised he is, how much experience he got, all that bullshit that they did with Will Levis, and we know who Will Levis is, so we'll see. But Jones, how you feeling about this one? Obviously, the last time it's being played, so you got that angle. But how you feeling?
Honestly, man, I fade Oregon State all the time, bro. Like, I don't think they're that good. Honestly, I faded them last week against Washington. Everybody was calling me crazy when I said Washington was going to win that game, and I feel like if that game wasn't rainy, I think Washington would have potentially blew the doors off of Oregon State, bro. Like, I know they got held scoreless in the second half, and people will, look at the stats and be like, "Oh, Penix ain't play that good." No, he was putting shit on the money, and people were dropping the shit out of balls, and that's a fact. Like, he was diamond shit, and Washington was able to capitalize off turnovers. I don't trust DJU in big games. He turns the ball over way too much, and you can't do that against certain teams that have a firepower offense, because if you let Oregon score, say Oregon gets up a touchdown, and then DJU turns that ball over, Oregon's going to go up another touchdown. And then you're talking about, okay, well, now they're covering that 13.5, 14-point spread. And I think that Oregon is just they have too much firepower, and then I get the point of like a look ahead, but I also think that Bo Nix is gonna try to stat pad. I mean, to try to get this Heisman, bro. So I like Oregon in this spot. Night game in Eugene against Oregon State. I do think Damian Martinez will have some success on the ground. I know people will try to say that Oregon has trouble, or not many people have success running the ball against Oregon, but honestly, man, like Dylan Johnson, running back for Washington, when they played originally, he ran for 100 yards on 20 carries. You got a guy like Damian Martinez, who is a workhorse. I think that his prop is good to go. As a freshman, he ran for 15 for 103 against them last year. I know it's a different, defense. Defense is a little bit different, but I think that Oregon State will have success running the ball, but I don't think that's how you win this game. I think that you got to win this game through the air to keep up with Oregon. If you can't outscore Oregon, you're not going to win the game. And so I like Oregon in this matchup. Don't know if I can get to the 2 touchdown scores, because at the end of the day, rival game, that's a lot of points. But maybe a team total look for Oregon, or just maybe attack this game by player props. I don't think you always got to take a side in some games, especially if you get offered player props. I think you can, translate to player props and become successful in backing a game. But as far as a lean, I like Oregon in this one. I just feel like it's too much firepower for Oregon State, and Oregon State on the road is just it's pitiful, bro. I mean, you look at who they've played on the road. They played a San Jose State team first game of the season. I'm not going to give that any credit. They go on the road versus Wazoo, and honestly, that game was Wazoo was blowing the doors off Oregon State on the road until that fourth quarter, and Oregon State kind of put up those points to make that score look a little different than what it actually was, because Wazoo was murking them, bro. And then they played a Cal team. Cal put up 40 on them. I mean, I don't know, bro. It's just they're a different team outside. And then I faded them when they went on the road against Arizona. And Arizona, got that win. So Oregon State on the road, just a scary team for me to try to back, especially with DJ. And it's like, what do they really got to play for other than spoiler at this point, So
yeah,
I think Oregon's going to try to win this game and try to get into this game 11-1 versus a 12-0 Washington team in the Pac-12 championship, and that's just going to make it for a bigger game. I think everybody see that Oregon versus Washington rematch. So I think Oregon handles business in this spot. Maybe a good teaser spot. I think you could use them as a teaser if you want to add them to a teaser, but if you don't like play a big spread in a rival game. So I definitely like Oregon in this spot, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think Oregon wins the game easily, but it's just how much, and I don't love it. For anybody who were looking at the props, I kind of like, even though Bo Nix is not the biggest runner, 6.5, rushing yards. Might look at that, -115. Damian Martinez, as Jones mentioned, he's at 96.5 rushing yards at -115. So if you want to catch that, that would be a good look as well. But yeah, man, this one is going to be one where you got to have a level of investment to bet anything on this. I would go props or maybe total. I wouldn't go sides on this whatsoever. But, to each his own, to each his very own. So we'll see what happens with that one. But we'll keep it pushing to our last game on the slate. It's the game. It's the one. Now, I contacted many Michigan fans. For all y'all Michigan fans watching on the replay or on live, none of them showed up. All right. Phoenix.
They're scared.
Look, I'm not saying it. Jones said it. Okay. And you just see it. They didn't call off of work. Obviously, this doesn't mean that much to them if they weren't willing to call off the work and, you know what I'm saying, join pay for play. So this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we got Ohio State looking for revenge, as my boy Drake would say, coming back to Ann Arbor, trying to avenge the fucking smoking that they got last year at the crib. We have both teams who pretty much, I don't know if I can say both teams have their college football playoff hopes locked up. I would say it depends on how the game goes to see if one or the other gets dropped out. And we'll have to see, obviously, next week in championship week how that goes. But you got Ohio State They are the dogs by 3.5. I'm gonna just start off with this. Michigan, they get a lot of credit for things that Georgia should get credit for. Okay. I'm the jealous person. All right. I think our offensive line is better than theirs. Okay. Yes, I get that they won, the awards for 2 years in a row, but they rotate 7 to 8 guys in order to do so. All right. We only have our 5. We got our 5, and we live and die by our 5, and we are dominant in the run game. We're top 5 in offense, and we're top 5 in defense. All right. So I don't know why they get all this gas, but Michigan's motto, which is why I have an official play of Ohio State plus 3.5. Their motto is to get the lead early in the game and then sit on the ball. That's what they do. So I don't think, and you look at their bigger games this year, they're not even hitting 300 yards of total offense. Okay. Now, do I believe in Kyle McCord and think he's the greatest quarterback in the world? No, I do not. Okay. I don't. But I don't think you're going to be able to have a game of 250 yards of total offense, a game of 275 of total offense, and be able to win. I just don't think that's going to happen. So Buckeyes plus 3.5. We'll let Jones go last. This is his squad. But Sam, how are you feeling about this one?
We talked about the Iron Bowl a little bit earlier today. We said it was the best rivalry in college football. I got a little bit of beef with this rivalry, and Jonesy can address part of the side of it. The X's in like your tweets and everything, where it's an O or an M. If it was a real rivalry, y'all would do that shit year round. I don't see y'all doing that year round. I think it's all played up whenever you get around the game, but that's my only beef with it, because if it was a real rivalry, y'all would be doing that all year round.
Not using M words for the whole year, Sam? Damn.
No. You can use an M word, but if you're going to do the X, you got to do it year round.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
That's my only beef. Just
you're going to be typing words in work emails with X's.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Commit.
Oh my God. This guy's crazy, man.
But anyway, the last 2 years of Ohio State have soured me in this game, because 2 years ago I was sitting here fully drinking the Ryan Day Kool-Aid, like we're going to put up 100 on them any chance we get. And it hasn't been that way. I mean, I know there's a little bit of correlation between some sign stealing and everything with them finally getting a win and that whole process starting. So I don't want to I'm just pointing out some facts, like
point out the
hire this guy and then you start magically beating everybody.
You only have one loss after you hire him. One loss.
And it was because you lost to Georgia, who you weren't beating anyway, because even if you have all their signs, you weren't moving the ball on them. And it was because the other game, the team used dummy signals and they blew your ass out. They put up 50 points on you. So I don't know, man. Until I see it happen, I'm not going to trust Ohio State to go on the road and win this game. That's just how I personally feel about it. It's nothing personal, Jonesy, but in my mind, I've watched Ohio State go on the road to a team that was pretty similar physicality-wise in Notre Dame, and they should have lost that game. They had no business winning that game. I mean, if it wasn't for Notre Dame completely blowing it down the stretch, like why aren't you running the ball? Why aren't you putting 11 guys on the field in an 11 versus an 11 person sport? But yeah, until I see it, I'm gonna go with Michigan. I would love Michigan to lose, because I kind of like whenever both teams lose in this one. The Twitter's just a great time during this game. And I'm not going to be able to focus on it like I want to, because fucking SEC put my game at 11 a.m., 12 o'clock Eastern. So I'm riding with Michigan. It's kind of like where I was before in this rivalry. I've picked Ohio State until I finally saw Michigan do it. And they've done it the last 2 years. And yeah, I just going with Michigan minus 3.5.
Okay. And Jones was stretching while you were talking, so that means he's got the ether ready.
I know.
He's got the ether ready.
See,
he's ready.
This is the difference between like me. I'm not a real gambler. Jonesy is a real gambler. Like you hear him talk, and like he has actual like stats and everything. I just come with all the dumb shit in my head that I think about. So Listen to him. Don't listen to me.
That's why we love you, Sam. That's why we love you.
So obviously I'm a fan, bro. So like people are gonna take what I say with like a grain of salt, but I've always said it. If there's like one thing I know, it's Ohio State football. I've watched it my whole life, and I've watched us beat Michigan's ass my whole life. Besides the last 2 years, so uh, the motivation factor in this game for Ohio State, it's it's real. And like I think we're gonna see some shit that we haven't. Ryan Day hasn't really had to go in his bag to pull out some shit, and it's been some health, along the season. Like we finally got Travion Henderson running, fully healthy, and he's looking great. He's looking unstoppable. You got Emeka, who finally looked 100% last game. Against Minnesota. Granted, it is Minnesota, but he looked like he could. He was finally getting his feet back under him. So coming into this game fully healthy, I love this for Ohio State. You look at the last two games for Michigan, man. They went on the road against Penn State. They ran the ball a lot, you know what I mean, and they had success doing it. I'll give them that. But if they did that against any other team, where the offense had Penn State has no offense. I mean, I'll just be very clear at that. Like they have zero offense. If they would have done that against Ohio State would have blew the doors off them, bro. Like Ohio State's defense this year is not even comparable to what it's been in years past. Like the past few years, defense has been absolutely atrocious. This year they're looking like arguably one of the better defenses in all college football. Like obviously it's an argument. I'm not going to say they are the best, but they've been able to completely just shut other opposing offenses down. They haven't let up more than 20 points this season. They've made quarterbacks that have looked pretty damn good look like shit. You watched Maryland or Michigan against Maryland last week. JJ looked in shambles, bro. Corum, it took him what do you have, 28 plus carries, or what do you have, 28 carries, and didn't even break 100 against Maryland. I think Michigan is going to be highly surprised on this Ohio State team. I know a lot of people are like, I don't trust McCord. You know what I mean? First game, big game on the road against Notre Dame. Yes, arguably there's arguments they should have lost that game. But at the end of the day, they won the game. They've been more battle tested than this Michigan team, and I think that's what's going to outweigh here. Because as soon as Michigan faces some adversity against a team that can do it on both sides, I think that's going to be the downfall for Michigan this year, man. I honestly do. I know that Ohio State has to go on the road and play this game, but I don't think there's a game that they've been more ready for ever than this year. You got to understand, these seniors, a lot of them, they haven't beat Michigan yet, so it's their goal to beat Michigan. Like Marvin wants to beat Michigan, Emeka wants to beat Michigan, Denzel Burke wants to beat Michigan. Everybody on this team wants to beat Michigan, and I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout or walkthrough. It never is. Like there's been games where it has been, but I just think that Ohio State, that defense is going to show up. They're going to limit the explosive plays, which is what Michigan has been able to do the last 2 years to beat us, is explosive plays. And that's just what it is. And I don't think they'll be able to do that this year. I think obviously trusting McCord in a big game like this, it's going to look ugly first half. He always looks bad the first half, but when it comes down to that second half and that money's on the line, I got Ohio State versus anybody. I've said it for years. They're the best second half team that I've personally watched. I just think they handle business tomorrow, man. That line was 7.5, 6.5, come all the way down to 3.5. I just don't trust McCarthy in this game. I think the line or the run game is not as what it used to be last year. And I think that Ohio State has built a defense specifically on stopping this Michigan team. And I think it shows tomorrow. I think they handle business and they win this game by a touchdown or more.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Touchdown or more. That's that talk I like. Look, that's that talk I like. All right. Now, and I agree.
I wish Jake was in here, because I know that he swears by Will John or Johnson, the cornerback, and Rome Wilson. Rome Wilson is going to be getting clamps tomorrow. This man had 0 targets and 0 yards against Penn State.
Yeah, and that's my thing with Michigan. I don't know. I just don't like Michigan because I feel like they get a lot of credit for not really. I mean, look, bro, like they played the first team that made a bowl game last year, what, in like week 8? Like,
Yeah.
What have they done in our lifetimes? Like a split national championship almost 30 years ago?
yeah. I mean, they got Desmond, I guess, and Brady. Like those two, I guess, hold over for however long in terms of you putting out talent in the NFL. You know, we all love playing with Denard Robinson on college football, NCAA 14. Like that was cool.
Michigan did the
But
best they could to wreck Brady's draft stock. Like,
yeah, that is true. That is true. And I look at this football team and I just say, bro, like, yes, you've been winning dominantly against teams that are clearly just not on your level. But this model of like
They
hmm?
played like you were saying though, like they've played teams that they're supposed to beat. But you look
Yeah.
at the last weeks, teams that are semi good either on defense or, as in Maryland's case, Maryland's been, I mean, probably the best offensive team they face. They
Mhm.
You look at that Penn State game, that game was fucking close. If Penn State had an offense, Penn State wins that game.
Look, if they weren't scared of their fucking quarterback, they would have won that damn game. That's what my problem is with Penn State. They be acting like they scared of Drew Allen. I know he's not the best, but like you gotta let him try to win the game. If he loses it, he loses it. But like to only throw the ball under 10 times, bro, like you're not gonna win anything with that. Like in November, December, and January, you're not.
If JJ plays like he's played the last 2 games, Michigan doesn't stand a chance in this game.
I
You're not
agree.
ball like that against Ohio State just continuously. You can't throw 12 for 23 against the Maryland and then think you're going to come around and throw for 300 or whatever against Ohio State. And you can't throw the ball 8 times against Ohio State and think you're going to win the game.
Yeah.
It's just offense. And I think it showed with Maryland last week, bro. Like Maryland is the best offense that they faced. And what Talia threw for almost 250, 21 for 31. Maryland should have won that game.
Yeah.
They had the ball way too many times and just couldn't convert, bro. And I don't think Ohio State's a team like that. Ohio State's gonna take advantage of what the opportunities.
I'm not putting that much stock into the Maryland game just because of what happened last year. Like the Illinois game, they had to win on a walk-off field goal, like before the Ohio State game. I think it's just such a look-ahead sandwich spot. Like you got up for this Penn State game, you come down, you got to play Maryland, and then you got the biggest game of your season the following week. So I'm not going to put as much stock in that, but I don't disagree with you. Like the JJ McCarthy getting any kind of Heisman hype this year was a fucking joke. That dude is not good, and it clearly shows whenever your coach wants to run the ball 32 times in a row to beat Penn State, who they have faith in, and it ain't you, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Well, like I said, I tried to get the Michigan fans on, y'all. So Michigan people, please don't be mad at me. But you know, they were scared. I guess that's what Jones
Gave
said.
them
Not
their
me.
chance.
That's what Jones said. Not me. I said I didn't say it. All right. Well, we have made it to the end of the show. We have our best bets. Obviously, Jones has a VIP. Please follow him. His @name is right there in his name on here. But if you do have any looks that you've given out for the free ski to the people, this will be your opportunity to give them out. So how you feeling about today's slate and tomorrow's slate?
Yeah. So for as far as a free play here, we'll go. I gave out a free play earlier on Lowe's show, but the game has already started, and that was Blake Watson for Memphis, his running back prop. So I liked that one, but for tomorrow, I gotta go with big play Trey, bro. Like I gotta go with TreVeyon Henderson tomorrow. Like I know I'm a fan, and it's crazy to say, but you gotta give me TreVeyon Henderson's rushing yards over the 83.5. He's had 100 plus in 3 straight road games on the road. Like I said, he's finally back healthy. I'll give you his rushing yards, and I also love his yards over 14.5. I think that's an absolute go. They're going to try to utilize him as much as they can. Couldn't talk you off of playing Marvin as well. It's a big game for him. I think he he tries to stand on business tomorrow as well. So free play, definitely give you Travion Henderson over 83.5. You compare that or play his receiving yards as a single as well. But that's something I'll be on. I mean, as you probably can tell, my focus is strictly on the game tomorrow, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'll look into some other shit, like, you know what I mean? I got for today, but I'm on the game tomorrow. Like, phone off, not talking to anybody until after the game.
Okay, look, I'll be watching the timeline because if Jake is losing his
3:30
mind,
slate's a wash for Jonesy because he
oh
ain't.
yeah,
He's either celebrating or drinking the sorrows away. He regroups for the 7
I'll
o'clock.
Sick, but I mean, as much shit as I talk, I gotta show up, bro. You know what I mean? If we
Yeah.
lose, it's a part of the game. You just gotta go with what it is. What it is. It's a game. Somebody gotta win. Somebody gotta lose. But
this is
right.
true. Maybe Jake will show up tomorrow if you do a Twitter space and he'll join from work. I don't know. Maybe he will. We never know. But for the 7 people that are in here right now, please drop your comments in the YouTube comments so we can see what some of your plays are. Give us your best bets too, because I've never been opposed to seeing something our community likes and betting it with my own money. So if you see something, say something in the comments right now. It's open. Sam is sweating against Iowa. I have no idea why he bet on Iowa. Why did you bet on Iowa, dude? What's going on?
Dude, I bet the under, and this thing is cooked. They got 17 points already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ugly.
Yeah, it's cooked. Yeah, I knew it was going to be big.
You're an LSU fan. I want to back your guys to so bad tomorrow, bro. Please tell me that the 10.5 is a go. I see 10.5. I see there's like 11.5s and 12s, but
I got 12.
Yeah, you can get 10.5. There's some 10.5 sitting out there. I think it's only one. I want to say just FanDuel is sitting at 10.5.
Here's I don't know if you saw it earlier, but I'll recap my logic real quick. You don't know who's playing for A&M. Like, there's rumors that Evan Stewart's not even going to make the trip. Don't know who's playing quarterback. And LSU's doing whatever they can to get Jaden Daniels the Heisman. So I think he's like 413 away from being a 4,000, 1,000 season. So they're doing whatever it takes. I think the offensive line's good enough to hold up against A&M's defensive front. They'll get theirs, but at the same time, they'll give them enough time for these receivers to do stuff in the second to A&M secondary because that's where they're weak in the defense.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna get to the window on it, bro. I've been looking at it all week, and I'm like, man, I want to play LSU, but why am I getting this short line with LSU at the crib? But I think they blow the doors off Texas A&M, bro.
Yeah, and there's a lot of recruiting stuff going on where Brian Kelly's got to kind of establish some dominance. So, you want me to do my card, Roddy?
Yeah, and revenge spot in that game as well. So
yes, absolutely.
Keep that in mind as well.
Recap those. I've got LSU minus the 12 over 66 because the over is 10-1 on the year. Not gonna step away from that just yet. Michigan minus 3.5. Sorry, Jonesy, but I had to do it. Oregon State plus 13.5. Washington State over 67. Those are the plays we've given out so far. Texas minus 14 as well tonight. Revenge spot. I know there's a little bit of a look ahead with the Big 12 championship next week, but at the same time, Texas has been playing they looked good on the road last week against Iowa State. I know that everyone thought that was like a little trick or slip up spot for them, but they made it through, won by double digits, and they lost to Tech last year, so they're going to have their full attention. A little bit of a rivalry spot. Why is that game down to that much? But South Carolina plus 7.5. Home Spencer Rattler. He has like 100 more yards per game. His completion percentage goes up like 15 points. And they beat Clemson on the road last year. I think this Clemson team is kind of cooked. I understand they've won a couple games down the stretch, but I'm taking Beamer boys. One big special teams play as well. But yeah, give me South Carolina plus 7.5. Might sprinkle money line as well. And then I'm going with your boys against the Nerds. Georgia minus 24.
There we go. Sam he knows something, y'all. Okay. But like I said, continue to drop your plays in here. I'll go ahead and run through mine. Lamar is liking UTSA by +3. I do have a play in this game, not on the side, but Arkansas plus 7.5. It's at 9.5 now, which I'm not really confident on that. And then he has Stanford plus 25.5, but he ain't feeling the greatest about it. But he did drop something that is on my official playlist. We're going to start with these guys. Okay. I'm going to start with these guys. It's all about the G. All right. Going to Atlanta. We own these people in Atlanta. As you saw, my boy Jordan, who was a quarterback in the 2021 game, he said that Jalen Carter said to him, quote, "You guys are really unprepared." You know, not the fact that you guys have like 8 NFL starters on your team. You're just unprepared. So whatever. But I got the dogs minus 13 in the first half. I think that's very generous. I think we up 16-17 in the first half. Don't really see how they're going to score. Don't see how they're going to stop us either. So I got the dogs minus 13 in the first half, minus 110. That's an easy money play for me personally.
If y'all don't cover in this game, I'm contemplating throwing the fraud card on you.
Oh, look, I will be there with you, of course, because our ATS record is fucking trash. All right, it's trash.
Beat the nerds.
I think we've covered like 4 games. Let me see.
George has been cooking, bro.
Oh yeah, look, I'm telling you, we getting ready for the end of the season, but y'all keep watching, all right? Y'all keep watching. Anyway, so yeah, I got the dogs minus 13, minus 110 in the first half. I'm riding with Jones's boys. I'm a think about the money line. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, though. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. All right, but I do have plus 3.5, minus 110. I think they keep this game very close, especially with the revenge factor. I also gave out earlier the Gators plus 6.5. I got them on the money line as well at plus 210. It's down to plus 195. So if you like that, go get that immediately. I got the Tide minus 13.5 for the full game. Weird shit happens on the plains. I know, Sam, but they lost to New Mexico State by 3 tutties. They had to get off the sticks against New Mexico State. Like,
They took you down to the wire too.
I don't know.
The same season.
I don't know. It's weird. Weird shit happens on the plains. I don't know. But I'll rock with that one, and I'll take the L on my head if I have to. Some things that we didn't go over. I got Cody Schrader, 118 rushing yards against Arkansas. Arkansas's rush defense is very, very middle of the pack. Cody ran for 100+ yards in his last 4 games. Make it 5 for me. He's going to secure his spot. He already did it 4 weeks ago, but he's going to secure his spot as first team All SEC as a guy who came from D2. That's incredibly impressive. So shout out to that guy. But I'm rocking his over rushing yards until the wheels fall off. That's at minus 115. Over 118.5 rushing yards for Cody Schrader of the Missouri Tigers. I have the team total of Louisville over 29.5 against Kentucky. We saw Vandy get I will keep saying this all year. We saw Vandy get vertical on this Kentucky team. All right. They went up against a pretty good Miami defense last week and were able to score points at will on the road. I think coming home, rivalry game, they're going to have a lot to play for. So
is Plummer playing in this game?
I think he is. I don't know.
Because I'm back in the Ville, so I've heard some rumblings around town that he may not play.
Really interesting. Okay.
But I haven't heard anything for sure. So
yeah, we'll have to stay tuned to our boy Pete Thamel to see. I don't know. I think if he plays,
keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, just watch that. And I also have the over in this game, over 50.5. I think if their offense is going to be up to par and they're healthy, I think they're going to score points. I don't believe in Kentucky's defense whatsoever. They are trash. I ride with Sam with the 11.5 with A&M. I think revenge spot. They're going to definitely want to get Jaden going. I got Jalen Milroe over 43.5 rushing yards against the Tigers as well. I just think he's going to do whatever the hell he wants against that defense. And then I have Cam Ward over 296 passing yards. Hate Washington's defense. And I think while they might lose the game, Wazoo, I think they're going to be able to stretch the field against this defense. So that is all of my plays. That is the show for the week. Jones, please tell the people where they can find your VIP, where they can find your Twitter, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so you can find my Twitter at that handle down there, Jonesy Trends. VIP is in the bio. It's called the Lab VIP. We also have a Twitter that you can follow. It's me, Prop, Wingit Picks, Liam Picks Fights, and the Commish. Doing a lot of, I'm doing mostly college football. The Commish, he helps out with the college football a little bit. We're pushing we're right at the 30 unit mark for college football this season. So college football has been super successful. We're getting to the 30 unit mark for NBA as well so far. We're about a month in for NBA and we're almost at 30 units for NBA. As far as me personally, VIP's been doing well. It's $30 a month. I think we're going to actually launch a Black Friday special here shortly, sometime after I get off of this. So stay on the lookout for that. We'll get that tweeted out as well. Oklahoma is putting TCU on the hub right now. It's insane, 41-13.
Wait, what? It was just 21-13. What the hell?
41-13.
3-8, 42. Yeah, 3 minutes ago in the second quarter.
Jesus Lord. Well, that's what they get for losing all them games. I guess they got to blow off their steam. Good Lord, TCU. Yeah, I'll fall from grace is crazy. Anyway, we appreciate Jones. Please follow him. Subscribe to his VIP. He has made me tons of money. He will make you tons of money, okay? He's definitely a guy who knows what he's talking about. I wouldn't even bring him on the show if he wasn't, all right? So follow our guy. He does call in the shots as well, 8 a.m. in the morning and 3 p.m. in the afternoon daily for the NBA. So if you like betting the NBA, or if you're new NBA better, definitely go over to my guys, him and Prop and Sosa definitely know what they're talking about. All right. So, Sam, tell the people where they can find you. I mean, they know where to find you by now, don't they? Do they?
That is the same on Twitter and Action Network. So those are really the only two places I ever do any plays or anything. But yeah, LSU just announced they're putting in the LED system next year on the lights. So we're hyped.
There we go.
100 years in Tiger Stadium. It's going to be a good weekend. Enjoy the last weekend of football. College football comes and goes too quick every year. But we got Champ Week next weekend, looking like some great matchups. Be back here next week with us. Follow me, follow Roddy, follow Jonesy, follow everybody that we interact with. Yeah, we're going to keep them coming.
Yes, sir. We will. And please follow Pay for Play. Again, if you didn't catch it in the beginning of the show, we're giving away a $100 gift card once we get to 1K followers. But you have to be following and you have to be subscribed to Win the Day TV. So please, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click that like on the video. Go ahead and click that subscribe on the page and click that follow on the Twitter at Pay for Play. All right. Like Sam said, we will be back next week for Champ Week. We'll have some guests. We'll have some picks, and we're going to have a war against the old man. So I will be fully ready, and I will be fully shameless next week, all right?
I got my Georgia shirt by next week.
I got my blazer back there, so I'm meaning business next week, all right? It's time to break the fucking curse, all right? It's time to break the curse. But until we see y'all next week, we'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.
Appreciate it.
For sure.